All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Mike from Dead to Zombies, and we're doing a live Q&A with Jarod Thompson.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Every day's a holiday.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I think we got some questions that's getting ready to be loaded up here in just a second.
All
We can
right,
go
man.
get right on into it.
Of course, man.
Let's see. So how was it working on that set, man? Was that a pretty big hospital? It looked like it was
Uh,
fairly big.
I mean, it is a full blown hospital. I mean, it's not a set. It wasn't created for the show.
Right.
You would think it was, but it actually is a shut down hospital in Noonan, Georgia. So it was crazy, man. I pulled up and I was like, maybe, I didn't realize it was shut down. I was thinking to myself, I was like, maybe, they're just set it, you set aside one part of the hospital, shut down one part of it. Nah, they got the whole daggum thing bought out. So
Wow.
that's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, they keep them areas barricaded off pretty good.
Well, there was people sitting across the street. I'd say every day from about 7 o'clock in the morning till gosh, I mean, some nights I left there 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and they're still sitting out there in their lawn chairs. So
Yeah.
it's crazy, but it also it amps up the feeling of responsibility and also the excitement you have about being a part of something so cool.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I can only imagine what it would be like just for one of them normal people just to live around them sets and them in them houses and just imagine what kind of experiences they get on a daily basis.
I feel really really bad for the people who live in some of those areas because they gotta be like, are you kidding me? They're shutting down my street again. Like, what is it with all these daggum people, man? But man, if I was living in one of those areas, I'd be making a killing off of parking though. I'd be selling parking spaces in
Yeah.
my house.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, man. I would for sure. Let's see, refresh this. Okay, we got first question is from Devin Hotchkiss. What was your favorite scene to film and why?
That's actually really an easy question. My favorite scene to film was in the episode Slab Town, which was episode 4, and it was the scene where myself and Officer Bello, which is Amber Dawn Fox, actually were dragging Keisha Castle Hughes down the hallway into the room for her to get her arm sliced off uh, by Eric Jensen. uh, it was so much fun to film. I had an absolute blast. I really love Keisha. She's a phenomenal person, and um, getting to spend some time just being around her was great. And then when it came time to actually shoot the scene, the switch when it turns on, man, it's nuts. Especially considering the fact, a lot of people know this, but with Walking Dead, it's a lot of people aren't actually Americans that are on the show. They're from England or somewhere else in Europe. Keisha is a Kiwi. She's from New Zealand. And she has the accent, and then we go to shoot that scene, and it's like lights out, man. It's so fun. I loved every second of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I actually got Amber's actually in the group too. Um, I just added her just a couple days ago, matter of fact.
very cool. Yeah, I mean, me and Amber know each other in passing a little bit, but I've told people before very respectfully, we run in a little bit of different circles, but she's always a pleasure to work with. We had actually had done just a random scene together on a show called Rectify for the Sundance Channel as well.
Okay, okay.
So
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's see what else we got here. Tammy L or Tammy Lynn, did you have any filming bloopers that you can share?
that I can share. Unfortunately, I cannot. Stalwart Films and AMC are extremely hardcore on the behind-the-scenes stuff, especially when it comes to the type of episodes that we filmed.
Mhm.
If you're familiar with the episodes that I'm in, they're pretty heavy as far as importance level in the Walking Dead scale. So I think that right now, unfortunately, contractually, there's really nothing I can share, but there's plenty of entertaining stuff that happens on set. I can definitely say that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Robin Sanders, what projects you what projects you have in the works that or what projects you have in the works that you are working on and can talk about?
There's a few actually. I actually wrapped up. I did a scene for a film called Term Life with Vince Vaughn, and that'll be out hopefully sometime this year. They've been working on that for a little while with Vince Vaughn and Haley Steinfeld and a few other really big names actually. That was a lot of fun. And then actually the movie I kind of worked my way into some film stuff with is a film called A Change of Heart, which is directed by Kenny Ortega. He was the guy who directed the High School Musical movies. He was Michael Jackson's choreographer.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, and he actually pulled me out of a crowd for this dance sequence with Mr. Belushi himself, and that was a crazy scene to film, but so much fun. Um, I've got a few other projects coming up that right now I wish I could talk about, but one I can say that one is a sequel and will be in theaters here pretty soon, and one is a television show, a network television show, and I'm just getting some logistical stuff worked out with that. But there's a good chance you're going to see me, hopefully, quite a bit here in the future.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Let's see what we got. Tammy Lynn again, is playing in a band your true passion?
Playing in a band is not my true passion. This is something I've covered on Twitter a couple times with some people, and I tell people this all the time. My true passion is finding stuff to be passionate about, whether that's acting, whether that's music. Uh, Man, I've worked in medical. I worked in neonatal intensive care for 3 years. I worked in labor and delivery. Dude, I've done a little bit of everything. I've coached high school football. Um, what whatever it is that I'm excited about, that's what I'm going to pursue, and I'm going to pursue it wholeheartedly. And then the second I'm not passionate about it anymore, man, I'm going to find something else to do. Um, and it's not to slam any of those areas or any of those things, but I just truly believe that it's not even really about being well-rounded. It's just about the fact that you can go out and you can find something you're really excited about. And if you really pursue that, it really doesn't matter what's going on in your life. That's always going to come to the forefront in some way. You're going to have people that are going to spend their entire life sitting in a cubicle, typing away on a computer, and they're going to be miserable because they're going, well, I'm making this big paycheck, but what am I doing with it? I don't want to be doing this. But they're never going to have the courage to step out and do what they really love. And I would say that is a huge mistake. Do what you love.
Oh yeah.
Do what you love. Who cares about the money?
Yep.
Money will always be there. Do what you love.
Oh, I agree, man. I was actually in a band for a good solid year, and we won the Battle of the Bands. We played with we opened up for Power Man 5000.
That's awesome, man. I love that group.
Yeah, man. I actually got to talk to Rob because he was there, because Spider's his brother.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Joe. So I talked to Rob for a minute, man. It was totally awesome, dude.
That's awesome, man. I actually right out of high school I was in a band and we toured and traveled and had a great time. I played in a whole bunch of different states. I played all over the country and I love it. And I still am passionate about music. But like I said, to actually answer the question, it's not the one thing, but it's many things.
Right. Got you. All right. Well, this next one is from Renee. if you could choose acting or music, what would you choose? And don't say music.
Ah, she beat me
That
to
doesn't
it. That's not true. Musical theater totally counts. But wow, that's hard. I'd have to go back to my what I just said before about different things about different passions you have. Because right now, I can't answer that question, man. It's uh,
too hard.
yeah, it is. And the honest to God truth is that uh, I love so many aspects of both of those things that I just can't pick one and be like, oh yeah, I would totally just do that. Um, if I had to lean a direction, it would be like 49.99999% to 50.0001%, and I would probably say music just by the slightest, tiniest little edge.
Got you.
So,
Got you. I can't say I blame you there, man.
yeah.
I love music. So we got Tammy again. How did you get casted on The Walking Dead?
Uh, that is another one of those questions, unfortunately, I wish I could talk about. But my situation was a little bit different than some other people's, I believe, and unfortunately, with my situation, it's not one I can really discuss, other than to say um, I was asked to come on. I did not attend an open. There was no open call, and I didn't go through any crazy. I didn't have some huge crazy story.
Right.
It just happened to work itself out through a series of, let's just say, fortunate events for myself.
Okay. Right. Got you. Got you. All right. Let's see. Next one we got is from Renee. Is the young lady in your videos Rachel? Her crazy then makes me smile as much as you do. You both look so happy performing.
Yes, that is Rachel. Um, she is my personal assistant, as well as probably my best friend, a dear friend, and we do love performing together. For those of you who will take the time to come out and hopefully stop by and see us when we're out on tour this summer, you will see Rachel out there quite a bit with us. I am so excited to bring her along. She's also going to be hopefully at a few of the conventions that I'm doing as well. If you guys come want to do autographs, you guys want to talk, whatever, she'll always pretty much be around. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. All right. Leanne, what was the funniest moment on set?
The funniest moment on set that I can answer, this is another one of those I've talked about in the past with Twitter, was there was a day when we were getting some things adjusted, and me, Melissa McBride, and Emily Kenny were making shadow puppets on the wall with the lights in between takes, and just like randomly, it just started happening. It wasn't anything crazy going on. It wasn't some setup. It was literally Melissa was just like, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, and then Emily joined in, and then we were doing it together. So it was hilarious. It was so much fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, we got Robbie Lynn. My question is, was acting something always something you wanted to do? If not, what would you be doing if it didn't come down this road? I think that we already kind of went over that one with the
Yeah.
music, and let's see. Thanks for being just a big shout out to you right there. So
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Robbie Lynn. I would say, yeah, we've touched on it a little bit, but it's not something I've always wanted to do. Kind of the backstory. I mean, I guess I could dig a little bit into a quick backstory on that, and that is that in 2000, I was a freshman in high school in Gainesville, Florida, and I got the chance to attend the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as part of a drum line. My whole band got taken to Macy's that year, and we went and saw Kiss Me Kate on Broadway. The very first night we were in New York, everyone was exhausted. Pretty much everyone fell asleep. We had been on the road since like 2 o'clock in the morning, practicing all the time, and I was like locked in. As soon as it started, I was like locked in. I was like, even now I tell people, like, going back and looking at that show, I'm like, that is not really a show I would be attracted to, or like that I really would want to do that much. But it was something about like the whole like stage and just how everything came together, and the whole like concept of theater, musical theater, that I really loved and enjoyed. And so at that point, I knew I wanted to do something in entertainment. I wasn't sure what, but I knew I wanted to do something in entertainment.
Right. It's the experience, really, man.
Absolutely.
Because I try to tell people all the time, people, go to people's shows and watch them on stage, and I try to tell them, you really don't know what it's like until you're up there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just the experience alone is crazy.
It's something you can't describe to people who've never done it. I think when I was working in medical was probably the only time that I felt the same like general understanding of what it's like to have that kind of pressure on you. I mean, to an extent, when you're coaching football, you do, but I think some people take sports a little bit too seriously. I mean, I love to win. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about winning, but not to the point that I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lose 10 days of sleep over it. But if I give a bad performance in something, I'm probably gonna lose 10 days of sleep over it. So.
Got you. All right, let's see what we got next. Tina Simon, anything in the works for TV?
TV, yes. Like we talked about, there's one show that I'm working out some logistics on. Pretty heavily recognized show. Not quite to Walking Dead level, but I don't think there's really going to be anything short of maybe Game of Thrones that I could do that would ever crack that. So, let's convince George R. R. Martin to write an Asian character, and we'll be good. But also on TV, trying to think. If they decide to air it, there is a few scenes I'm hoping that will end up not on the cutting room floor, but for anybody who works in entertainment, you just never know. I do have a couple. I had a couple pieces in Graceland this last season that for network broadcast ended up on the cutting room floor, but I'm hoping maybe they'll show up when they come out on either DVD or Netflix.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
Right.
All right, let's see. Lindsay Cannon, besides The Walking Dead, what was your favorite show? Also, have you checked out Z Nation?
Besides Walking Dead, I'll be honest, I have no time for TV. I am totally 100% on Netflix, and so Netflix. Right now, I'm rewatching all of Friends, even though I have all 10 seasons on DVD, but I grew up watching Friends. That was like it came out when I was like almost 9 years old, and I watched it until I was almost 20. It was like a every Thursday thing. Outside of that, as far as newer shows, really just Orange is the New Black and SVU. Those are really the only shows I really hardcore get into. And then, of course, Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones is weird because I don't really have a lot of time, so I kind of catch up like 3-4 episodes at a time.
Right.
And then, thanks to some people that I've had the pleasure of working with recently, I just started watching Girls on HBO, Lena Dunham's series, and I really dig that. As far as kind of that like reality, like concept, reality drama concept, I really dig that. I'll be honest, I have no idea what Z Nation is. I feel really terrible if it's zombie related or Walking Dead related.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually watch SVU, man. I used to. I kind of quit watching it once.
Chris Maloney left.
Yeah, once he left, well, and then the captain left, and then I just had to. I was like, I don't know, man.
I don't
So
know. I'll be honest. I kind of have the hots for Rollins, so I mean, as long as she's around, I'll probably keep watching it. So
yeah, Rollins she's quite the looker there.
yeah.
Let's see what we got. What impact has The Walking Dead had on your life?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be sitting here obviously if
Right.
if it wasn't for Walking Dead. But I think the big thing with Walking Dead was um, it's this is gonna sound a little bit strange, but the number one thing that it's had on my life that I've enjoyed is the opportunity to talk to people about some things that are really important to me, namely really education, pursuing advancements in education, as well as some charity funding. Um, I put this on Facebook. I'm a big, huge supporter of the Walking Hope, which supports the American Cancer Society. Um, I also am really doing everything I can to raise money for Alana Masterson, who plays Tara on the show. She is really into education as well, and she wants to start a project in Nepal. And I am extremely excited about those things, extremely passionate about those things, and that's been a huge impact that Walking Dead has had, is to open the door for me to talk to more people about those things and kind of get the word out
Right.
about how important that is. Um, Being in the different fields that I've been in before acting and before all of this, it's given me a chance to really see what a huge difference even just a basic, you know, early childhood through high school education can do.
Right.
Once you do what you do after that, I tell people all the time, college will always be there. If you want to go do something else and come back to college and you don't know what you want to do, you don't know what you want to major in, that's fine. Don't go do college, go
Right.
work, get a job, find something to do. But that early education, there is nothing that can replace that for a lot of people. And it opens the door for a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that will never get the opportunity to have that, and that's, to me, something I hope we can at least make a small dent in and change.
Right.
Um, but outside of that, obviously, is the privilege of being part of a family like The Walking Dead has, is just an enormous honor and privilege, because people are so incredible in the way that they talk to you, the way that they spend time, wanting to speak to you,
Right.
and just in general, it's the fact that Walking Dead is gonna be something that 20 years from now people are still talking about.
Oh yeah, definitely,
This is
definitely.
it's not it's not something that is gonna go away quickly. It could end after this season, and we'd still be talking about it in 20 years. So to be a part of that, and even last night, I don't even care how short of a 2.5 millisecond thing it was, but when you see yourself on previously on The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good. That at that point you're like, okay, it's for real now. So
I can only imagine something like that. I mean,
right, it's awesome, man.
yeah. Let's see, we got Devin Hotchkins. Did you get starstruck when you met any of the cast from Walking Dead?
Um, no, I'll be honest, it's not my personality to do that. Probably because of doing music in the past, and touring, or it may just not be my personality in general. It may not be my nature in general. I don't really get starstruck. Um, that being said, I do feel very honored, and I felt a lot more, I guess, maybe responsibility, once I kind of knew, who I was sharing some of those scenes with. And so uh, that was a big thing. Um, if there was anybody that I could say I was necessarily close to starstruck around, um, it was probably Andy, just because of the fact that I was such a huge fan of his and other stuff that he's done, especially in Love Actually. I was a huge fan of his in Love Actually, and so that that made a huge difference for me. But outside of that, or Emily Kinney because of the musical theater thing, you know, that was probably the big ones. That if I could say I was close to being starstruck, I was.
Right, right. All right. Let's see. Excluding your character, who is your favorite character, not actor on the show? I see Darrow Funko Pop figure behind you. Is that a hint?
That's actually not Daryl.
Uh-oh.
That's not Daryl. It's Glenn.
Oh, it's Glenn.
Got a rep for the Asians. Got a rep for the Asians. Specifically the Koreans. Me and Steven were both born in Seoul, South Korea. So that's the reason why I've got that back there. My boy out there, but it's kind of crazy because that got gifted to me. So that was awesome. But favorite character, this is not a popular answer, but it is the 100% truth. And all my friends who have known me since I've been watching the show since the beginning will tell you this is the honest God truth. My favorite character was Beth. Not a popular answer, but my favorite character was Beth, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that it's kind of funny when I see the controversy and I see all these people, especially even last night. Oh my gosh. This is what I tell people. When you have somebody who can make a character that can make so many people love that character, but also so many people absolutely hate that character, you're doing something phenomenally right.
Right.
Yeah. And because that's human nature at its finest. You know, let's be real. Everyone loves Herschel. It does not matter, it does not matter who it is. Everyone loves Herschel. But that being said, that's not really realistic. You're not. How many people could you poll in the United States or in the world that would take, if you took one person and put that person in front of them, 99.9% of the people would say, "Oh, I love the thing that's going to happen." It's not a realistic thing with me. Oh my gosh, one of my friends showed me some forum post where they were like, if you could kill off one character Walking Dead, who would it be? It was like, I'd kill off the Asian cop because he's got the name from, I guess there was like a shooting, and it's crazy because I was in Los Angeles at the time that this apparently happened, but there was some shooting involving the police that the cop's name was Tanaka. Like, I would have killed him because I was like, what? what did I do? But I genuinely, Beth was my favorite character because I felt like she represented true humanity at its finest. And I think for all the people that were like, oh, she was such a sissy, she wanted to, kill herself when we first met her, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if we really had a zombie apocalypse and this was your reality, there's a bunch of those same people that probably would have been thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not to be mean, it's not to be, and it has nothing to do with Emily, even though I love Emily dearly. But Beth genuinely was my favorite character.
Well, I lost my favorite character last night. So.
Oh, yep. See, if it was one of my favorite actors, that would be it. Chad's such a boss. I love Chad.
I was so heartbroken, man. I was supposed to go to Walker Stalker Chicago and didn't get a chance to go, and I really wanted to go because Chad was going to be there.
Right.
And I had got word that something might happen to him in the back half of this season, so I really wanted to go and didn't get a chance to go, and I was so heartbroken last night, man.
It's things like that, man. It's just, it doesn't matter if you know it's coming or you don't. It's still devastating, and and once again, it comes down to the performance, and there's not many people that you could have an entire episode. What? Because it was literally like 30 minutes of the episode was spent
Yeah.
after he got bit, you
Yep.
know, and it
He
was focused on him. He
he did.
carried it, man.
He really did an amazing job.
Yeah, he carried it. It was great.
Let's see what we got here. Cindy, have you worked with any of the other Grady Bunch before, and what can you tell us about them?
Like we kind of briefly touched on, I worked with Amber on Rectify for Sundance, which there's actually a really funny story about that whole thing because we were supposed to be shooting this outdoor party, and for some reason it was filmed in Georgia, and it was like in the 20s,
Ooh.
and everyone else on set, when the wardrobe people came around, they were wearing like jeans and like long shirts, like jackets and all this stuff, and the lady was like, "You have some shorts?" Like, are you, what? I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I ended up in shorts and a t-shirt for probably 6 hours, freezing. And Amber was outside with me, and it's funny because we had to huddle by the heater every time they yelled cut. It was entertaining. I had not gotten a chance to work with any of those other people before. However, as far as what I can tell you about them, I got probably closer with some of them than I did with others. I never really got a chance to meet or work with Rico that much, but I would definitely say of the bunch, I connected with, if you want to count Eric, who played the doctor in there. Eric was awesome. Me and him are both New Yorkers, so
Right.
we get along. He's also a musician. You want to talk about the dude having somebody who has great musical taste? That guy's into the classics, man. He's got some great stuff going on. Eric is fantastic. And also, I would say of that bunch, I had also kind of gotten close with Cullen Moss, who played, the Creeper, Gorman.
Right. Yep.
He was awesome to work with. He was fantastic. We spent a great deal of time being around each other during lunch and that kind of stuff, and he was awesome to be around. And then, without a doubt, my favorite person to be around was Christine Woods, who played Dawn. Nobody can, that's another one of those people that you want to talk about performance. She is one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my entire life. If you just talked to her, you'd be like, how in the world can this woman do this and play this character? But that just shows you how talented she is, And if people really, really took a chance to go and watch some of the other projects that she's done, they would see how incredibly talented she is. And I definitely encourage everyone watching to go watch Hello Ladies, which is right now on HBO On Demand. It's a movie she did to kind of finalize a little series that they had out a while ago on HBO, and it is hilarious. And Christine is fantastic as usual in it. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. She's actually a very, very pretty woman.
oh yeah,
Like,
Christine's gorgeous. She's also married.
I'm sure most of the women on them show is married or engaged or something. I'd be
But
surprised if they
yeah, no,
weren't.
she's stunning. She's fantastic.
Let's see what else we got. When you first came in contact with the Walkers, what was your reaction?
I can't talk about a couple scenes, unfortunately. There's a few things I want to talk about, but I unfortunately I can't. However, I can tell you that my very brief exposure is really the same reaction I had to everything else, which is the makeup work is incredible. It's one of those things where you look at it and you go, what do the guys in post production even do? Like, they don't need to do anything. It looks so good already that like you just don't even have to really mess with it, other than to maybe do a couple minor touch ups.
Right.
Um, it's nuts. But I just kind of I was just blown away by the makeup. That's what I am allowed to say and what I can't say.
Right. Right.
So.
Okay. Let's see. Since you were a fan of Bess, did you really believe Bethel would happen? If not, do you think it'd be creepy if it happened because of the age difference?
Oh man. No, I did not think Bethel would happen. Um, I was always more on board with. I'll be honest. I always kind of was hoping for Carol and Daryl. That's kind of what I was hoping for. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll be honest. I'm still kind of hoping for that. Um, you know, if the boss man just happens to be watching Kurtman, Gimple, do it, man. You know what I want. I've told you what I want. Give it to me. But if it did, I didn't think it would be creepy. Frankly, I'm a firm believer that love is love. You know, obviously within limitations. But
Right.
but also that being said, I have a differing opinion because of the fact that I know the fact that Emily is my age, which is we're both almost, oh man, we're turning 30 this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, both me and Emily are turning 30 this year.
Uh, you're
But
still young. You're still young.
yeah, I know, but still, it's that changes my outlook on it because I think everyone looks at Emily and they're like, she must be like 17, 18, and I've had so many people tell me that, and especially when I've made comments about the fact I've been like, Emily is so gorgeous, like I love Emily, she's just a phenomenal person, and they're like, that's a little bit creepy. I'm like, dude, she's my age. She's
Right.
she's exactly like I think almost to the day 2 months younger than me. So,
Well, they make
um,
you look good on camera now.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot, and I like I said, I think that probably plays into my answer on that one. So,
Got you. All right. Let's see. What do you enjoy doing in your free time? Any hobbies?
hobbies, free time. I don't know what that is. I would say when I do have free time, music is always there. I love going to concerts, love going to shows. Um, Also, I really love reading. I love learning stuff, so I'm big into like nonfiction books. I love reading about World War II history. Um, Also, just getting outdoors. In this line of work, man, you don't get to be outdoors much, and
Right.
getting to be outdoors with a good book in the park, I'm pretty happy. So
Keep you quiet.
yeah, the quiet, the calm. Sleep is a good hobby too. Sleep is a very, very good hobby.
I know a lot of people that feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, man. Today was one of the first days I've had off in a while, and I woke up. I had to take care of a couple little things this morning at like I don't know 8:39. I'm normally up at about 4:30 or 5, but woke up at like 8:30 or 9. Took care of this couple things. Went back to sleep at like 10, and I think I woke up again at like 3:30 or 4. It was fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it was beautiful.
I bet it was. Yeah, my sister's the same way, man. Sleep. There ain't nothing better to sleep.
Oh yeah, it's a job all by itself that I would love to have.
Oh yeah. Well, that question was from Lindsay, and here's another one from her too. Cats or dogs? Do you have any pets?
um, cats are smarter than dogs. Cats have a nasty independent streak in them, and I love that about them. Um, don't get me wrong, I love dogs. In fact, if I could, I would go out right now and buy an English bulldog and a husky. But I just don't have the time and love to give them, which comes along with the whole answer. Dogs require a lot more one-on-one attention. That's their nature. Cats, they believe that we're here to serve them, and they do their thing. Um, I've got really smart cats, and they know how to get into trouble. but they also know what they're not supposed to do, and so it's easy for me to leave the house and not be too worried about them. Um,
Right.
I love cats, but I love dogs too. I just love animals in general, man. If I had to choose though, I'm a horse person, dude. I love horses.
Hell yeah.
I'd be on the farm riding horses.
Oh, I bet you love that scene with Rick
Yeah,
riding through Georgia with
of course,
on a horse.
of course, absolutely.
Let's see. Got Tina Simon that says, "You're so great for doing all these Q&As, Jared. We love you."
Thank you, Tina. Tina, Megan, you guys have all been fantastic and so supportive over Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook person. I'm not a big social media person in general. This whole Twitter and Facebook thing is a bit overwhelming sometimes. And especially Tina and Megan have been absolutely incredible and kind of guiding me along with some of this Facebook group stuff and putting me in contact with awesome people such as yourself. So thank you very much, Tina. It means a lot to me.
All right. We got Megan. What's your favorite kind of music, and who's your favorite artist?
Ooh, I love all music. I believe that music is the best therapy for any situation, without a doubt. So for me, I grew up on country music. I grew up more a little backstory, I guess. I was adopted when I was 6 months old, and I tell people all the time I've got some super white parents. Um, but I grew up, on Garth Brooks, Creedence Clearwater, George Jones, that kind of stuff, and I still love all of that. Garth Brooks is probably one of my greatest musical influences. He's the reason why I started playing guitar, and definitely my favorite overall artist. I'm also very, very big into Dave Matthews Band. Huge Dave Matthews fan. Taylor Swift, not a popular answer, but I love Taylor Swift. I appreciate the fact she writes her own music. I really don't care if people are all uppity about it. I love the fact she writes her own music. Huge because I am from Gainesville, Florida. Sister Hazel, they're huge in my life. Sister Hazel, I believe that there is a Sister Hazel song for any situation in your life that can happen. There is a good song that they have for that. So big Sister Hazel fan. If you haven't heard of them, listen to them. They're great. And then, stereotypical Walking Dead answer, Emily Kenny. So
Right. Got you. This next question is from Carrie McDonald. I wanted to ask this question for my admin, Michael, because he asked everybody I do a Q&A with the same question, so I knew he was going to want to ask this anyway. But have you read any of the comics, and what is your opinion?
I have. I'm not caught up. I'm working on it. It was not when I got cast that I started reading it. I had already started reading it. The graphic novel is about middle of season 3-ish. So by the time Terminus started flowing into fruition, I had already gotten caught up to where Gabriel had come into play.
Right.
So I kind of had a feel for some of the things that were coming, and also as far as what I think of it, is I think that Kurtman and Scott Gimple and Gail Hurd do a phenomenal job of taking an already good source material, and then making something that people who love the comics will appreciate, but also not feel like they know everything that's going to happen 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's tons of people that are alive in the comics that have been dead in the show, and vice versa. So to me, I think that you got to take the time to appreciate how awesome that is, and of course Nicotero as well. That they've put together this project where they can take something where people are killed off in such a continuous fashion, I mean, let's be real. Next to Game of Thrones, I can't think of another series where more people consistently die. Main characters consistently
Right.
die. And with that in mind, like I said, in order to create a fan base that is going to continue watching, you have to give them something original, and they've done that with Walking Dead.
Right. Cool, man. Cool. What do you just out of curiosity, if you was to throw a prediction out there, what do you think season they'll throw Negan in?
Uh, I can't answer that question. I can't even give a prediction. Unfortunately, that's one of those things that contractually I can't talk about.
Okay. So okay, how about this one? I recently just friended Dave Fenoy
Right.
on Facebook, and he's I think we're going to be doing a Q. I'm going to be doing a Q&A with him pretty soon. What are your thoughts on him playing Ezekiel in the show?
I have my thoughts on casting is this. Um, I don't care who gets cast in roles in Walking Dead. What I care about is that the people and the source material, or I'm sorry, the people honor both the source material and the Walking Dead family. And it's a huge load to carry. But it's like I talked about earlier. That's a responsibility that even I feel is that first day pulling up there and seeing all those people sitting out there in lawn chairs. Um, Dude, I could have been in that show for 5 seconds at the most and felt the same way, which is when you're part of something so big, you owe it to the amazing fan base that a show like Walking Dead has, just to be respectful toward the material that you're given, and then whatever you choose to do with it, I think with that honor given to it, the Walking Dead family will embrace it.
All right. All right. How do you? This question is from Carrie also. How do you feel about Glenn not being a major character in the comics? I don't particularly agree with that because
I'm gonna say I don't necessarily feel that he's not a major character. I feel
no,
like he is.
he in my opinion he was a bit more outspoken in the comics than he is in the show.
He's got a little bit more attitude in the comics.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that, we're speaking specifically on the comics, and I don't know how much people read into it, but that may also end up being a bad thing for him, and in the comics.
Right.
But that being said, I feel like Glenn is fine, in the comics. I think that where maybe the question is being directed to is also to say what a lot of people were saying, which is there does need to be more Asian American characters, though, I think in a lot of television and film. It's not a racist thing at all. Please don't think I'm going off on some tangent about racism or anything like that. But let's be real. It's very hard outside of maybe, obviously, because of the show, Glenn from Walking Dead. Then you've got, I'll be honest, I didn't even watch the show, but I just know that he was on it because everyone tells me, and all my friends are big into it, was Kim Young Park or whatever from Lost.
Mm-hmm.
Him from Lost, and then maybe George Takei. Outside of those people, like Asian males in TV and film, it's not a regular thing.
All right. Got you. All right. We got Tina Simon again. Mentioned you like Game of Thrones. Who is your favorite? Mine is Kelsey.
Khaleesi. Yeah. Darrell. Yeah, I'm hesitant to answer this question because I have this sneaking suspicion this always happens. Whenever I answer a question like this, that person always ends up dying next on Game of Thrones. It's like George R. Martin is listening to everybody. Like, did you ever watch Batman Forever?
Yeah.
with Homer and and the one with the Riddler. The whole thing like where Jim Carrey's sitting there and all that stuff's getting fed into his head. That everyone's talking about and all the thoughts and stuff. I swear George R. R. Martin has that, and he just like picks the people, like the best people. It's like dead, kill them. My answer to that though is Arya Stark. I'm a huge Arya Stark fan. I love Arya. It's one of those things where I believe that a kid with so much attitude is fantastic. I don't know if it's even remotely true. In fact, it could be the furthest thing from truth. I was not a big enough fan of Walking Dead before to really know this kind of information, but I heard that Maisie Williams had actually auditioned for Walking Dead at some point. I don't know if that's true, but I think that may have been the only swing and a miss that Walking Dead ever had, if that is the truth.
I know I did read something. I don't know if you've ever watched American Horror Story.
I love American Horror Story.
The Alexandria Brackenbridge, I think is her name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I heard she auditioned, and I think she's actually getting a part and going to be supposed to be Rick's love interest coming up. So we'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah.
I liked her in American Horror Story. That was I think the first season was probably my favorite season, other than the
this most recent one, Coven.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Coven was my favorite.
Yeah,
Coven was the best. This most recent season, man, I hate clowns. I freaking hate clowns. So I was not about that. I watched about 2 episodes. I was like, I'm done. No, I ain't mess with that. But with things like that, that's the one thing that I've always liked about Game of Thrones, and I desperately hope Walking Dead will not get into, which is I have no problem casting quote-unquote big names because obviously, especially overseas, like people like Andy were already big over there. He was already big in the UK.
Right.
And then in the kind of indie scene, Norman Reedus was huge, the Boondock Saints, duh.
Oh, yeah.
But I just, what I hope and pray is that they will never go out and be like, let's cast Johnny Depp in a role, right. Something like that. I just, if that ever happened, I would have some very, very hurt feelings about it. To use your word, I think it was your word actually. I'd be pretty butthurt about it.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Carrie McDonald. How do you feel about being cast on Walking Dead? Do you wish you had a bigger role?
The answer to that is every role on The Walking Dead is a big role. When you look at the series as a whole, I think if you printed out a cast list, credited, uncredited, whatever it is, even if you included every citizen of Woodbury in that, I think you could probably fit it on about the quarter the size of a page compared to any other television show in major network history. I believe. So Walking Dead, any part on Walking Dead is a big role. As far as how I feel about it, it was surreal, without a doubt. In fact, when I found out, I read the information like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna happen." and then like every day leading up to my first day on set, I sat back and prayed that there was no chance that I was going to get the phone call where they were like, "Oh, by the way, we cut your scene. Bye. See ya."
Right.
So my overwhelming feeling is just I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. That's the number one thing. I'm grateful.
Right. I can imagine, man. Just kind of like how you are now. I've spoken with a lot of the walkers from the show, and they are just so beside themselves that we give them that kind of support, and they're not part of the original, the real cast or whatever. and they're just so nice and so appreciative of it, man. It's awesome to talk to any of them.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, um, that branches out into the cast as well. And strictly speaking, from my standpoint, I'm the kind of person I generally get along with about everybody. So I can't speak for some other people, but I know for me, like when going back to like meeting people like Andy Lincoln, that kind of stuff, dude, it was so easy to talk to them all the time. In between stuff, it wasn't like I was like barriered off from them or anything like that. And then when the opportunity came to meet like Steve and like Lauren Cohan and some of those people, like it was just very, very easy. That you did not. There's no feeling of you are more or less to them in any fashion, compared to a film I worked on with a very big name who I'm not going to say because obviously that just wouldn't be professional, but I'll just say that this person basically went out of his way to make sure that we didn't have any interaction, even though I was having a dialogue with him in the scene. Like we were going back and forth talking about something, and he wanted to improv stuff, but he told his PA that he only wanted to be communicated with through the PA and not me directly to him. So even though I was literally sitting where I could lean my forehead forward and touch his face, I had to talk to the PA next to me to talk to him, and then he would tell the PA back, and then he would turn and tell me. I was like, what? So none of that. So
Got you.
yeah.
Would you? This is from Carrie again. Would you come back as a walker?
I've seen what they go through. Yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it. Just to be around. Just to be around. Yeah, I'd do it.
It's that experience thing again.
Yeah, it's the experience, man. It's the experience.
I mean, a bunch of them have told me it's a good 6, 7 hours in a chair. I mean, them poking at you, and I know.
It took them 45 minutes to do my hair, man. I don't even want to know how long it takes them to do all that stuff. Forget that.
One of the ones I've talked to is Sonia Thompson. She actually has a class teaching, how to walk and how to make sounds and stuff like that. Man, she's really awesome too. But she's another one that's real appreciative of her fans, and I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It's crazy. The Walking Dead family, when they say that, they mean it.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, man. It's absolutely fantastic. It definitely is a family all the way around. So
I think that's about all we got for tonight, man.
Awesome, bud.
I greatly appreciate you doing this, man.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Like I said, I'm more than happy to reach out and talk to all the people that are associated with Walking Dead, from the fan aspect and everything else. If you don't mind, like I said, hit up Walking Hope, American Cancer Society, big deal. Also look into Alana's charity. It's incredible. If you get a chance, guys, I'm going to be out on tour. I'm starting my tour in Florida, in my hometown of Gainesville, on March 6th. It's dead smack in the middle of all the big cities. It's in the middle of Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa. I would love to see people out there. I've got people coming from Atlanta. I got people coming from Miami. It's going to be awesome. I'm also going to have some tour dates all over, man. Atlanta, New York, Chicago, LA, Austin, and I'm going to be at some conventions. So I'm hoping to see everybody out there. Do not be afraid to come say hi. I've had people in Georgia who had followed me around for 2-3 hours but didn't say anything and take pictures of my back. But I promise I am a very friendly person. If you want to come say hi, come say hi. And if you come to one of my shows, definitely come talk to me afterwards. We'll get a drink together, chat, and I'd love to meet all of you.
Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations on everything you're doing, man. Keep
Thanks,
up the
bud. I
good
appreciate
work.
it. I appreciate it.
All right, man. You have a good
Thank you.
night.
You too.